Just to be sure, there's a spoiler. The challenges in maintaining continuity between The Big Bang Theory and its latest spin-off, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, have already begun to show, to the point it may take a tragedy to resolve a 7-year-old plot hole. Fortunately, solving this conundrum in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 is as simple as introducing one devastating new story beat. Heading into its sophomore season, nearly every main character in the Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage cast faces career adjustments. Georgie and Ruben buying the tire store from Jim affects both the Coopers and the McAllisters, even Mary. Remarkably, however, this Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1 finale plotline both creates a plot hole and sets up its resolution. Welcome to Movie Spy. Georgie buying Jim's store in First Marriage Season 1 negates his Big Bang Theory arc. The pitfall of a series like The Big Bang Theory is that you can't target an audience of comic book fans without expecting every potential canon break to be scrutinized. Nonetheless, The Big Bang Theory plot hole in First Marriage arises from the fact that future Georgie tells Leonard that he bought his first store out of pocket. Mary putting her house up for collateral, and Ruben putting up the rest, undercuts one of Sheldon's more grounded story arcs. Sheldon getting help from his family while Georgie had to pay his own way accounts for one of the biggest resentments between them. Yet Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage currently gives the audience no real basis for that animosity. Since Jerry O'Connell's first appearance as Georgie in The Big Bang Theory 7 years ago, fans have already found reasons to pick this detail apart. For instance, young Sheldon establishes that Sheldon's German studies were largely funded by Mary's church. Regardless of how Georgie started Dr. Tyre in The Big Bang Theory, Georgie's perception of Sheldon's financial favoritism is debatable. It's certainly not unusual for siblings to misremember how their parental treatment differed growing up, but Georgie claiming that he started Dr. Tyre on his own dime when he didn't ruins his characterization. Older Georgie loses the rough-around-the-edges credibility that highlights the contrast between his own success and that of his allegedly prodigal brother. Thankfully, that can be easily remedied. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 can involve Georgie losing the shop. Perhaps Georgie didn't buy Jim's tire store entirely out of his own pocket, but it's arguable whether the writers actually forgot about that detail. Georgie spends much of the Season 1 finale attempting to finance the store purchase on his own, ostensibly setting up the exact chain of events that those who remembered his Big Bang Theory introduction would expect. Whatever prowess Georgie's demonstrated in terms of salesmanship and market analysis, management is its own ball game. Losing Jim's store due to inexperience or changing market conditions would put Georgie back on his original track, allowing the purchase of Jim's store to feel less like a retcon and more like a waypoint on the path to paying off established canon. Thanks to a behind-the-scenes photo of Georgie Cooper's bruised face, it's already known that Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 will throw at least one tangible hardship in its protagonist's direction. Having to shutter a store that Jim didn't initially want to sell him could create even more tensions for Georgie, fueling a major story arc in the process. It's even possible familial tensions could play a direct role in Georgie losing the shop. According to series co-creator Steve Holland, Jim's retirement in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage will account for much of his story arc, as Jim McAllister isn't the type of man who can embrace retirement comfortably. Either way, Georgie's failure would be deceptively good for him. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage and TBBT both benefit from Georgie's failure. Whether Jim buys back the shop or Georgie loses it outright due to his own shortcomings, failing to keep this tire store afloat restores the logic of starting Dr. Tyre from scratch later on. And if Mary loses the house as a result, then it offers another compelling foundation for Georgie's future resentment toward Sheldon's detachment from the Coopers' hardships. It makes sense for Georgie to internalize his self-perceived role in holding the family together if he's had to help Mary out of a jam that he partially caused while Sheldon remained unaffected. And, since we know Georgie and Mandy eventually get divorced, how Georgie's failure affects his family relationships could become a vital component to his overall character arc. This could potentially play a huge role in Jim's Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 arc as well, but the more important concern is that losing the store enriches Georgie's Dr. Tyre storyline by showing that he had to earn his success the hard way. Right now, he feels like little more than the Mary Sue of tire sales. Such an experience allows Georgie to learn key lessons that inform his future enterprise, legitimizing his success arc while creating a stronger sense of consistency between his teenage self in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage and his adult self in The Big Bang Theory. Watching this resourceful young entrepreneur lose everything would be tragic, but it's what his story needs. Thanks for watching.